program. And I see we've just been joined also by another one of the professors in the program, Dr. Ivashkiv, Roman Ivashkiv. And Roman, you have your video off. I'm guessing it might be because you have childcare duties and stuff like that. So welcome. Well, that's us. Let's get started, Melody, with a little bit of information if you're ready to go ahead.
Oh, yeah, sure. So I'm going to share just a second. Okay, can you all see my screen now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So I think last time I forgot to share the sound, but it's good. There's no video this time. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, like Joyce said, so basically that's the information about the program. Actually, we had a webinar, I think late last year. So it's more about the general program and also the application process. So if you want to know more details about like the program requirements, the application process, so maybe just check our YouTube channel. So normally I will include that in the email. So just go to the video and check about our last webinar, more about the general information about the program. So for the webinar today, so basically we'll talk about the resources and also career prospects for TRS graduate students at UIUC. So as Joyce introduced, we have invited some of our current students. So hopefully we'll share with you some of their experience with in our program, like how they came to our program, how their daily life is like at the university. So because Cohen is an online student and also Brenda is an on-campus student. So I guess they will have their various perspectives to share their graduate life story with you guys. And also we have our alumni to share with you about what they are doing now, what they have benefited from our program. And also maybe they will share some career suggestions for your future job hunting once you complete the program with us. So for the resources, basically, I will share something about like the library resources we have and some other on-campus resources, and also some resources which are available for online students, because we have two major modes in our program, online and on-campus students. So we have a large population of online students. So for the library, I guess always we are very proud to share some of the important information about our library. We have, I forgot the number, the third largest, or at least one of the largest library in the US. And so for the library, normally we have over 14 million, yeah, I think the number is right, items in the library. And the good thing is that we have a special area, for example, for our translation studies, we do have like 2 librarians who are specifically working in translation studies. Like if you have any question relevant to this field, you want to know some new publications, new books in the field, I think they are definitely the person you can turn to. And the other thing I want to share about the library is, so for online students, don't worry, you can have all the access to all the resources in the library. You can get most of the resources very easily from online. And sometimes you can even request the copy to be mailed to you. I believe it's like free, there's no cost for that. So it's very convenient. If you have any question about how to get a copy, just turn to our librarian. And sometimes, like even for me, when I have a problem finding an item there, I just use there's a function like ask the librarian. So there'll be someone right there help you to find the item you're looking for. So the library resource is very accessible. So, and I believe for the future study and for your future like capstone or thesis writing, it will be very helpful. And every year, normally like during the orientation, so we will have an orientation session like right before the fall semester starts, the beginning of every academic year. So we will invite our librarian to do a kind of mini demo about how to use the library resources. So that would be something very helpful too. And also we sometimes, for the second year students, before they work on their final project. So always we invite our librarian to help them if they have any questions about how to get library resources to work on their capstone projects, which is kind of like their thesis. Yeah, so I think that's a part I want to talk about library, to share about library resources. And the other thing I want to share is about the interpreting booths. Like Joyce introduced, Dr. Pagura is an expert in the interpreting field. So we do have our interpreting booths on campus, and that can give you some very real life like experience as a simultaneous interpreter. And the good news is that we are getting more like new equipments to kind of enlarge our interpreting booths to get more booths there. So that would be some exciting updates in I think in this year we get the new equipments there. That's about the interpreting booths. And the other one I want to talk about is the CET tools. So as you know, for our program, we have three different areas: literature translation and interpreting, and also professions. So for the professions, we do have a lot of students who specialize in professions. So we have some great resources there, CAT tools. I will show you like later on how to navigate our website. So you can go to our homepage and find the CAT tools we have. So like once students in the program, they will have free access to some of the CAT tools, like MemQ, like SDL, all the stuff, and MemSource, which has been, I think, which has been recently changed into Phrase, the new name for the CAT tools. And so also, I think students will have a special discount. If you're in the program, you get some discount with most of the computer assistant tools there. So if you have any further questions about, once you get into the program, so you will start use some of the CAT tools. So it's not only for professions. So we do have one course just named CAT tools, right? CAT, that's a course name. But the CAT tools are not only for that specific course. For most of the courses, like in professions, courses like in terminology or localization, students will be highly encouraged to use those tools. And the professors will give you some hands-on demonstration or training for most of the tools, how to apply them, how to use them for your coursework, for your projects. Yeah. What else? Okay. The other one I want to mention here is about the ATA scholarship. So this is a different scholarship. So for admission purpose, we have the merit scholarship, which is mainly for the admission papers for those very outstanding applicants. That's a primary scholarship, but we do have a kind of smaller scholarship, which is ATA conference scholarship. So not only for ATA, I shouldn't call this way, maybe just for conference scholarship. So every year we know, like American Translators Association, we have their annual conference. So this will be a very big gathering for most of the translators, interpreters, or language professionals who are working in the field, maybe mostly in the US and some from other, like from Canada and other countries. So we'll get together. So this will be a great opportunity for students to get some like update information in the field. And I think the most part is like you can start to build up your networking to get to know people in the field. And they have kind of job fair or booth there. You can go ahead and introduce yourself to some of the companies and to get connected with the field. So that's a very good one. So every year we will sponsor like 3 to 4 students. So for this scholarship, you need to apply. So it's very competitive. But normally we will encourage our second year students to go there to get well prepared for their future job hunting there. So this is something I want to share. So other than ATA, we have other, I think last year we have sponsored students go to Middle West Translators Association. So we have students go to other kind of conference. So if you have a presentation or something accepted by those academic conferences, so we will try to sponsor our students to develop their academic career there as well. So this is something I want to mention. Okay, so maybe we have some other resources related to like a way to know the campus, to know the university, and to know our program. So the first one I want to mention is about the campus job boards. So maybe I can click on this one to give you a quick idea. So this campus job boards, so basically for students, mostly for on-campus students, I believe. So assistantship clearinghouse. Clearinghouse is a beauty of the name, which I've been to. So assistantship clearinghouse here. So basically for students who are looking for assistantship. And so our program, we don't offer like a full-time assistantship or so, but you can turn to other programs, other departments to see whether there's any opportunity there. I think the most relevant one should be the second one, the third one, the fourth one, because the virtual job board. So basically for on-campus students, if you want to do some on-campus, find some on-campus opportunity. So here, this is a website you can turn to look for some on-campus opportunities. And so the handshake, you can find like other like local, national, or global opportunities for internships or part-time or full-time. And the third one, I mean, the most relevant one, the research park job board. So on campus, we have a research park. So we do have some students in the past who have been working for some companies in the research park, like the State Farm, doing some translation jobs there, basically internship, right? Yeah, internship. And so this should be some maybe useful information for your future study here. And we're planning to show you some campus tour, but most of the tour or the virtual tour are pretty long. So I think maybe I can just show you where you can go to. And it's very, sometimes when you watch the campus tour, it's very exciting, make you feel you want to go to visit the campus right away. So at least that's how I reacted. So this one, so if you go to this page, it's targeting at undergraduate students, but I think the information is the same. So if you go to this page, sorry to make you dizzy, I'm scrolling down. So this is a very long campus tour. It's about like 40 minutes. And it's a nice one, kind of to know not only the campus, but also the different majors, some very representative schools or departments. So you can watch this video at your free time. This is the one I would recommend. And the other one, so this one, maybe if you don't have that much time, it's pretty long, I know. So this one is a much shorter one. It's like seven, maybe roughly 7 minutes. So these students will kind of give you a virtual campus tour to introduce the major buildings, some of the schools and landmarks on campus. So it's something enjoyable too. Okay, and so for on-campus students, maybe you'll be interested in the on-campus housing. So this is where you can check the housing information. Okay, and this one is about a kind of tour to the city, to Urbana-Champaign. So if you are planning to go to the on-campus mode, so this something you can enjoy. It introduces the food, the nice restaurants where you can go, and some place you can have fun. And also the other thing I remember, we say like Urbana-Champaign is one of the top 10 college town in US, which is very, in means of affordability. It's a very nice city to take your college education here. Okay, what else? Yeah, and I think that's most of the information you can find from this page. And this is more like a student day life, a day of a student, a very personal like story. So you can just go ahead and enjoy. Yeah, I think that's about this one. And the third one is our program website. I'm sure most of you have been here and you know where to find us. So this is our homepage. So just give you a quick demo, like where to find most of the information. So this is our homepage, just translation at illinois.edu. And if you go to our web, if you have applied, you do not need to check about the admission information. But if you are new here and planning to apply for the program, so you go here to click on admission, and you can get all the major information you want, like application requirements, deadlines, and also the very useful one, application instructions, to tell you like what documents you need to prepare for your application. So this is about admission. And the other one for the academics one, I mean, you can go here, check about the course catalog for those, because today I think we have a few attendees who actually have been admitted to our program. So you can go here to check about the course catalog. I believe there's a technical issue recently, so you might not open some of them now, but the tech service are working to solve the problem here. And this is the CAT tools I just mentioned. And if you go to the master program, you can find most of the, almost all the information about the program requirements and required courses for the program. Yeah. Okay, so that's about the homepage. And the last one I want to mention is about international student and scholar services. For those international students, this will be a very helpful website. So if you go there, I'll not show the page, but that for international students, that's a very important page, because that's like before you come to the campus, before you start your study here, you need to get registered with this unit, and they can provide you with all kinds of information kind of related to your visa application, your visa renewal, and life in Urbana-Champaign, like the social security number you need to get when you come to the campus, and other things like transportation, all kinds of relevant. You can go there and check out more information. Yeah, I think that's the most of the resources I want to share today. And also at the bottom, you can see this, we have our like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube account. This is not clickable, but if you go to our homepage, all those icons you can find at the bottom of the homepage, and just click there, and you can request to be, to be added to our account there. Yes, I think that's all the information I want to share. What else? Yeah, I think that's so far. That's all the information we want to share.
Melody, I see that Cohen's putting in the chat that finally she gets to see everything on campus because she's going to come in May. And
oh, she's coming. Cool.
Yeah, it would be so cool. So
Yeah.
if you're not familiar with your program, you might be going, wait, isn't she already a student? And I just wanted to comment that you can do the master's degree fully online or on campus. And Cohen is doing it fully online. She's going to tell us more about that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But we do not consider that those are two different cohorts of students. Everybody's in the master's program. The only difference is the modality, right? You can be living in another country. You can be living in another state. And our students are all over the world, actually, but you will be a University of Illinois student. This is your campus. And so we hope that even people who choose to do the master's program fully online will finally get to come and see their campus and go to graduation. And I will mention also that on the transcript, there's no indication of whether the program was online or on campus, because it is exactly the same program with exactly the same course requirements, just to make that clear.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think we have introduced the resources, and maybe it's time to have our students to share their experiences. So first for our current students, we have invited two of our current students, Cohen, we just introduced them, Cohen Lee and also Brenda. So they both from the different cohort. Cohen is from the online cohort and Brenda is from the on-campus. So they both are the second year students. They're working on their capstone project and also almost ready for their graduation in May. So yeah, so how about maybe Cohen, would you like to go first to introduce the online?
Melody, you're still sharing your screen. Maybe we could.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you first of all, for the opportunity to share with you. My name is Go-eun Lee. My language pair is Korean and English. I was born and raised and spent most of my life in Korea. So my native language is Korean and my specialization is literary translation. And before joining the program, I was working as a court and medical and conference interpreter for about like 5 years. And then after that, I, until now, been working as a in-house interpreter and translator. So I do both now. And then because I was working full-time, I am still working full-time, I wanted to have a program that offers fully online courses. So that was really great that I was able to find this program. And the flexibility is really nice so that I didn't have to quit my job and, study. And I travel a lot for work, but I was able to make proper possible, changes in class and class schedule. Class schedules are also very flexible. Professors should ask your availabilities to make a decision on day and time of the class. And during class, even though you are online, it's not like you're forgotten behind the computer and camera. It's very inclusive. Professors make sure that you participate, you contribute to the class, and also listen to you and communicate with you and everybody all together. And some classes were fully online. Everybody's online, including professor. And some classes I took were hybrid, so on off together at the same time, and both I think worked out great. So I think that's communication or just joining online is not a problem at all. It actually worked out better for me. And I think one of the greatest things about our program is that our program focuses on not only the skill building part, but also the theory part, which I think it is very important given the nature of the profession. And it becomes really handy when you are in the actual translation and interpreting situation, when you know what you are doing and what how it is supported by the whole lot of history and theory and knowledge. It's really really great to know all of that. And in class you get to learn the theory and you get to apply those theories and everything that you learned, and you have a chance to workshop them to solve some problems that you may have faced during your practice. So, and there's also language specific feedback you will get. So that's really good too. And because I work as an in-house, sometimes I am some people, when they receive my translation, some people use Google Translate to back translate my translation to see if there's anything missing. And before, during the class, I could only say it's just different, my language doesn't work that way. It's just not like that. But now I can argue much better in a much more professional way with all this knowledge that I learned. And it really changed the whole culture of like working with an interpreter, working with a translator in my organization. So I think it is really nice. People do respect our profession. And lastly, I think our professors are really knowledgeable, of course, but they always make sure to help us succeed. So I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, I think that's all I can share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cohen, for sharing. And yeah, she's working in Korean. And so, Renato, sorry, do you have a question?
Not really a question, just to add very quickly, we encourage students to also take classes in other fields. For instance, Cohen just said she's working on literary translation. Last semester, for instance, she took advanced in interpreting, which is normally the last class in interpreting, but as she works as an interpreter, and as she has had interpreting classes elsewhere before, she did take a simultaneous interpreting class in which she did very well. And she joined 2 of those classes from Korea, right, Cohen? 2 of them. She was there on business, and
Yes.
that did not prevent her from joining the class the same way. So
That's
actually,
cool.
Brenda also took interpreting classes, and Patricia, although none of them are really in the interpreting track or specialization, but that's something we encourage, that you learn other things. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Like you can focus more than one area. That's highly encouraged. So, and you have the advantage of taking the courses in different area for sure, for both online and on-campus students. And so can we move on to Brenda, our on-campus student?
Hi, my name is Brenda Flores. Can you guys hear me well?
Yes.
So my name is Brenda Flores. I'm from Puerto Rico, born and raised there. My language career is Spanish and English. And I came into the program as a novice translator right after graduating and undergrad. I decided to choose the track in the profession field because I wanted to get more experience. But as I got into the program and moved to Champaign, I had the privilege of taking other courses outside of my track, which was something that I really enjoyed and thought that I don't know, I thought that I couldn't do, especially the interpreting class. And that is one of the reasons that I loved a lot of this program, because you get to experience not only taking multiple courses, but also with other students with other language peers, which is something that when I got into the program, one professor asked me like the reason why I chose to like go to this university. I was like, well, I didn't want to only submerge myself in a program that focused on only one language pair, because I had looked into programs for only like Spanish translation, and I had the experience to like interact with other students with other language pairs and see how they tackle their translation problems. It was really fun. And also being able to see students from other programs as a on-campus student. I get the chance to take classes with students that are in the Spanish department, which I feel that I've been adopted to, and other students from other departments that are interested in translation. And that's a flexibility that we get to see, and online students also get to see, because most of the classes, like we have said, we take together. They can be hybrid. Yeah, and the advantages of the job searches, because of the connection that we had with the library at the beginning of the first year, we had the library tour in person for the college campus students, and I got the chance to meet one of the librarians, and he's from Puerto Rico. We started talking, and I got the chance to work with a editing publishing job here from off campus in campus, but also online. And I was able to edit translations that were articles that were translated and like work on that. And I've also got a chance to take other courses outside of the program. I recently took Italian because I had a little bit of Italian in my backbone. I was like, let's take more classes. And I was able to do that because that was an on-campus course. And right now I'm on my second semester as a Spanish TA for the Spanish department. And I don't know, I'm really grateful that the program, it's in the structured way that it is, as flexible as it is, that we get to pick and choose what we want to do, and we get to explore different areas. And as a campus student, I appreciate it. And I obviously have a lot of merch from the university, because that's one of the perks. You get to go and buy your merch.
Thank you, Brenda. Thanks. Yeah, actually, that reminds me about since we talk about the online and on-campus modes, so the kind of difference between them. I think the major one is like for online students, you just like the minimum requirement, you need to take 2 courses, and then you will be considered as a full-time student. So which will matter for your future. I mean, if you are receiving scholarship, that matters a lot because it's only available for full-time students. But for on-campus students, as Brenda said, from a good point, you have the advantage of taking more courses. You can take any courses, like if you're interested in another language, take language courses or take other culture courses or anything you're interested in. But the minimum requirement for that is like for our program, you only need to take 2 courses. But as on-campus students, you are required to take at least 3 courses, kind of to maintain your full-time student status, right? So yeah, that's something I just want to point out, just in case you got confused. Yeah, I think thank you so much, Brenda and Cohen, to share your experience. And sorry, do we have any questions so far? Do we have any questions? Kinry, right?
Yeah, if it's
Just go ahead.
okay, it seems like you two are both second-year students, so thinking about your capstone, could you guys talk a little bit about what you guys are thinking about for that project?
Cohen or Brenda?
I can go first. So my capstone is I'm creating a term base, because one of the courses that we take, terminology. I have proposed to create a term base for a book that I had worked with in my undergrad years. I worked on a book that reflected oral history about Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. So what I'm proposing, what I'm working on, it's creating a term base for terminology based on the book. But right now I'm figuring out if I want it to be something directly just for the book, or if I want it to be something more open, since the book has topics as social justice and environmental health, and all of that it's involved in the book. So I have like 2 aspects that I need to choose, and that's the process that I'm in right now. But yeah, it's a term based.
Thank you.
Well, capstone for me is about the different receptions between different reader groups for Korean originally written in Korean but translated into English fiction, and that awarded a International Booker Prize. And when that was announced, the winning was announced, it kind of like stir up a controversial conversations in the field in Korea amongst academics, mostly because of the way it is translated into into English. And there are a lot of things going on in the translation and about the discourse, and that changed the whole sort of aspects towards literary translation, Korean literary translation into English. So it's now like in the field before and after that, like prize winning almost. So I was very, very interested in at the time and until now, and I'm figuring things out, why it had to be that way and why they reacted this way, that way, all those things with some theories that are that were discussed in class. And yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Cohen and Brenda. And I just want to add a little bit to the capstone project. So maybe it's, yeah, so it's basically we treat that as one course, but it's kind of like you're kind of wrapping up thesis. So it's a one semester thing. But before that, you need to do some preparation. So like for most of, for our second year students, normally they will be working on their proposal in their last but one semester. So once they submitted their proposals, we kind of try to match their research interests with our faculty members and also, of course, with a language pair. So kind of to pair them up with our faculty members. And then they will work in groups, like one faculty member will be directing maybe a couple of students, for example, working in literature translation or working in professions. And in the final semester, that would be a kind of big project for them to work on. Either they can do translation or can be an academic research paper. Yeah, so it depends on their proposal and their discussion with their supervisor there for the project. Do we have any other questions so far? So maybe we can, Joyce, shall we move on to our alumni? Can't wait to hear from them. Okay. Joyce, do you want to introduce them?
Sure. It would be a delight to introduce these three wonderful alumni. I see we have a third alumnus with us, and that is Alex Ortiz Reyes. Welcome, Alex. I already briefly mentioned Patricia Worsley and Jordan Eason. They said hi before. So actually, each of our alumni also did a capstone project, of course. And so if that's something that you want to share when you're talking about your experiences now, that might be interesting. But let's just jump in. Patricia, you're at the top of my screen. Why don't you tell us, what are you doing now? What did you do with your MA? And then, of course, if people have follow-up questions, I hope you'll be open to them. Let's hear, where are you? What are you doing?
So, so I am still working as a freelance translator, English into Portuguese, but I also have a full-time job working as a music translator supervisor. So that's something that I just started. Right after, well, towards the end of the program, I started an internship for a nonprofit organization, and I was doing blog translation coordination. So they had their blog translated into 14 different languages, and I helped them manage those translations. And towards the end of that internship, that internship led me to my current position now. And it's something that I recently started about a month or two ago, and it's been a wonderful experience. And really, the program prepared me for the work, to enter, to find these jobs and these opportunities. A lot of the classes, especially the required ones that I was like, man, I don't want to take this class. Why do I have to take this class? But looking back, I am so grateful that, those are the required classes, because they are the classes that actually prepared me for my current roles. And also helped me as a freelance translator. So before I started the program, I was already working as a freelance translator. I had one or two clients. I didn't have a whole lot of work with translation. I did do some translation for my full-time job at the time. I was also an online student. So having that flexibility of, I had a full-time job, an 8 to 5, and the professors were very accommodating for the classes that I couldn't attend live. I could watch the recording, and professors are always available for questions. Everyone's wonderful. Melody, she is quick to respond. Whatever you need, they are there for you. So that was my experience as far as being an online student. but just those classes and the resources really prepared me for my current roles and helped me be a better translator. So kind of like I think what Cohen was saying, you learn those theory and techniques, and you end up applying that to your translation. So if you're already working as a translator, that's going to be a huge benefit, and you're going to be able to explain, to clients why you translated, a text a certain way and things like that. But what I learned, in the program really helped me. It helped me get my internship. The localization class was particularly helpful for that. But my current role as a music translator supervisor, I don't know that I would be able to take on this role without one of the classes I had where we did a lot of poetry translation work, and I learned about rhyme and meter, and everything that's involved with poetry that I now use on a daily basis as I evaluate other translations. So everything that you learn, it's going to be very useful as you try to get into the translation and interpretation industry, whether you want to work as a freelance translator, or if you're contemplating on finding a full-time role as an in-house, or in different areas as as translation management, or other fields. There's a lot out there, and you won't regret taking the program. And also the resources that Melody mentioned, those were very, very helpful as well. The CAT tools, I mean, that is huge. Those CAT tools are very expensive, and through the university, I was able to get certification. So I got 2 or 3 Trados certifications, which that really helped. I think helped me, stand out, amongst the crowd, and on LinkedIn and the HA directory, even Prosy, those translator sites. And I also took advantage of the taking the MemSource, which is now Phrase, certification as well. Learn a lot with that. So not only do you get to learn in class with your professors, but you can also take advantage of those, which if you weren't in the program, that's kind of expensive to do those certifications. So that's, just a little added bonus there. And your capstone project. So I was actually able to present mine, do a little presentation about mine during the HA conference this past year. I was selected by the Science and Technology Division to bring a poster about my capstone and just talk about it during the welcome event of the conference. So that helped me get a lot of exposure and, make lots of new contacts. So, I think without the program, I would not be where I am today. I would still probably just be, freelancing, but trying to, rough it out there and trying to, I would have a much harder time finding clients on my own, and maybe not having, the quality of clients that I have today, and the full-time opportunities that I have been presented with. So I think that, if you're thinking about it, it is worth it. I recommend. You won't regret it.
Patricia, that was lovely. I see there is a little follow-up question from Kinry. Can you tell us just a little bit more about music translator supervisor? A lot of us are trying to wrap our heads around what is that? Just briefly.
Yeah, so the company I'm working for, they have a lot of songs that need to be translated into many, many different languages. And so our team, each member of our team takes about 3 or 4 languages, and then we work with these translators. And we make sure that they are keeping the style, that they're following the style guide, but also, conforming to the music. So making sure that they have enough syllables, that they're not going over, making sure that the music sounds fine in their language, just working with their, with those translators and training them, and making sure that they are producing a product that meets the standards that, follow the English, the source text for the song, and then, they're meeting that that form. So
Amazing. Thank
yeah,
you. Thank
we
you
take
so
care of
much.
their invoices too, because they're all contractors, so we take care of that part as well. But the best part is working with the translators and kind of teaching them how they should translate it, and then making sure that their work meets our our standards.
So interesting. Maybe what we'll do is hear from Jordan and from Alex both, and then open it up to any questions that come up, maybe. Jordan, again, I forgot to mention when I introduced our alumni, what year they graduated. I put it in chat. Patricia just graduated last year, and Jordan 2 years before, so 2021. Jordan, what have you been up to?
Hey everyone. So I was originally a military interpreter as a language, they call it LEAP in the U.S. Air Force, Language Enabled Airman Program. So I had a lot of experience, and I came into the program really to try to become more sophisticated in my translation. I focused in literary translation, and my language was Portuguese. I had thought about dabbling with my Russian, but as I got into the program, I was like, my Russian's definitely not ready for this. So I definitely enjoyed the program. It definitely played a critical role in landing my first position in the National Foreign Language Center at the University of Maryland, where we translate and do content creation for the Central Intelligence Agency and the U.S. military assets and agents when we are essentially creating content for them to learn Portuguese. We did all three dialects, Brazilian, African, and European. The big focus in Africa at the time due to what was going on in Mozambique. It was a really fun job. It was a remote job. I was able to actually use my capstone project and get into, I kind of springboarded off of that idea and landed a PhD candidate role at the University of Coimbra in Portugal. So I was able to do those two things at the same time. And I have to say that coming from a military background, the theoretical side that I learned from Dr. Pagura here was really great, and it's really helped me recently in my PhD work a lot. I feel like I was already ahead of all my peers in Coimbra and the theory. And then also Dr. Ivashkiv helped me out a lot with the sophistication of my literary translations. And I really got to learn a lot about all three of the different variations too. I also do freelance translating. Like I feel like all of us do a little bit of freelance translating. So I was able to dabble with some Colorado court stuff for a while I was in Colorado still, close to the Air Force Academy at the end of my time at Illinois. And I felt like those courses definitely helped me do that. So I can't say enough about the program. It's an awesome program. I think what really makes it for me was the professors. I essentially studied Brazil and Portuguese as a job since I was 18 years old almost in the Air Force. And I felt like I learned so much from Dr. Pagura about Brazil and things still, even after studying it as a job for 10 years. So it was just amazing, the level of sophistication in our program. It was awesome. I thought it was fantastic. So yeah, I think that's me in a nutshell. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Jordan. And I just want to interject here. I know we said we're going to hear from both of our other alumni. I want to make it clear, you cannot have a good academic program unless you have really good students. So, we hope that, of course, our goal is to try to make our students into outstanding professionals, but we couldn't do it if we didn't have great students to begin with. So everybody you see here is in that category of fantastic student, as are all the students in our program, of course. Alex, so nice to see you again. Alex Ortiz, tell us what you've been doing since you left 2 years ago.
Yep. Is my microphone working okay? Yep. Awesome. It's nice to see some familiar faces and some new ones too. After graduating, I worked as a freelance interpreter for a few months. You know, just being out in the field for a little bit. And there was a point, I think around September, in which the company that I currently work for as a project manager, Argo Translation, reached out to the program, and Dr. Tolliver recommended me for the role. And about a month or so later, I was hired as a project manager, and I've been working there since October of 2021. Oddly enough, the project manager role was one that I sort of like learned about a bit late into the program, probably in my last semester. But since then, I've realized that basically like no translation agency or company can really operate without a project manager, because as some of you may know, we are basically like the mediator between the clients and the translators who do the work. And I have definitely used a lot of the knowledge that I gained during the program in my role, such as like always asking, oh, what is the purpose of this translation? What will it be used for? The knowledge that we gained from using CAT tools has also been super valuable in terms of like how to use a translation memory, how to update and maintain a term base, and so on. And I feel similar in the way that Patricia and Jordan did, that for me, the thing that I took, my main takeaway from the program was like that the professors are incredibly knowledgeable, and also that they really do a great job at fine-tuning the balance between theory and practice. And I feel that that's been something that I have been using like pretty much every day in my current role. And it also has allowed me to have like an inside view into the translation world, because you get to see like the language pool, the most requested languages, the scope that a project could have in terms of it's just translation, if it's translation editing, if it needs a voiceover, and so on. So it's really been an eye-opening experience in that regard.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And again, you were in the campus-based program, right? And Patricia and Jordan were both doing everything online, just to add that extra information. What questions does anybody have for anybody? Something that has struck me listening to our current students and our former students who are working in the profession now is that you're all over the place, literally and metaphorically both. So I think, if I'm not wrong, Alex, you're probably in Illinois, right? So you're within the state. Patricia, are you now on the West Coast? Or where are you? More or
No,
less?
I'm in Mississippi.
Oh, you're in Mississippi. Oh, okay. So you are in a different place.
Yeah.
Jordan, you're in Portugal?
I'm actually at Langley, Virginia right now, but
You're in Virginia, but you're
I'm always
studying
on the
in
move. So
Portugal.
right,
Okay.
right.
Yeah. Hey, always on the move. Yeah, that's our students. And as you heard before, Cohen was traveling around during her time already, was in Korea at some point. Brenda came to Illinois from Puerto Rico directly. So I really am impressed by the diversity of backgrounds and experiences that people have in this program. And I'm also really happy to know that we're sending our Illinois graduates out all over the world. I think it feels very cool.
Yep. I can take, oh, go ahead, Professor Pagura.
Yeah, no, just a very, can you hear me? Because it says I'm
Yes.
muted. Just
Yes,
as
we
a
can hear you.
curiosity about being spread all over the world, I have in the same class, 542 this semester, conference interpreting. One student is in Wuhan, China, the city that became infamous because of COVID, while one of her classmates is in Gabon, Africa. Tell me about being spread all over the world. While some are right here in Illinois.
Right. So here's a really good question, and for our alumni, the transition between working as a translator or a freelancer to more management focused roles. And I think, well, maybe all of you alumni could talk about that to a certain degree.
Yeah, I can jump in on this one. I would say like the main difference, at least in my context, has been that when you're doing the translation or interpretation like directly, you're basically in full control of the role. You're actually doing that performance for the person who is requesting it, versus when you're in like a project management role, there's more delegation more than anything. Like you are assigning tasks to different people, and your responsibility within that role is to make sure that things get delivered on time within a certain budget, and that they meet like certain specifications or project notes that the client may have requested, essentially. I have to drop off because I'm still wrapping up my workday, but I'll leave my email address in the chat so that if anyone wants to reach out with any additional questions, I'd be happy to answer. It was nice to see everyone. Take care.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for
so much,
coming,
Alex.
Alex.
Bye. Joyce, we got another question from Brett in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This is a nice advising question, and we can talk to you probably after the webinar, Brett. But anyway, the short answer is you can go right into 410. And we can touch base, and we'll talk to you about all the details, but yeah, you don't need to take something in German first. And so here's an important thing to know about our courses, and that is that most of them are not tied to a particular language pair. So the courses that you take that are in the core area and the courses that are required are multilingual. They have a multilingual format. So your colleagues in the course might be working on a variety of different language pairs. Courses are taught in English, with the exception of those that are explicitly marked as being tied to a particular language. I teach the Spanish-English translation course. We have a German-English translation course. Dr. Chen is teaching Chinese English as well. Those obviously are usually taught in the other language, but by and large, in their elective courses, they're not required. So by and large, all of our courses have a multilingual format taught in English. What else? What other questions?
For those that work full-time while also doing the program, I guess my main question is, how was balancing the two different aspects of life, the full-time job with the schoolwork?
I can field that one. So I can say that the teachers were, again, amazing with working with you on flexibility of times. I know several times, Dr. Pagura, I would start the first 10 minutes of the 2-hour lecture still in my car trying to call in before I got home from work. So that it was really great with flexibility, and I can't tell you how many times I met off course time one-on-one with an instructor where you know, they would call you on like, oh, you're not free today, like let's get on the horn on Thursday at 7, you know, and I'm talking like late at night because I worked all day. So it was really helpful, and I can say the workload, it's a challenge because you're studying and you have lots to read. But I usually woke up early on Saturday mornings and did a lot of my studying then. So I tried to make up for it, just time management like normal, but it's definitely doable. I had a full-time job, probably working more than 40 hours a week, and I still was able to do this program. So
Thanks.
I was saying great students in the program, really great, dedicated, organized students are in the program. Great question and a really common one. Let's see, Kun, do you want to talk about that, or Patricia, because you also have had other obligations when you were in the program?
Yeah, I mean, it's there's work to do, especially during your last semester when you have to work on your capstone project, because then you are the one basically setting, you know, the deadlines. But I felt that throughout the program, I mean, the professors are great, like Jordan said, but it's also very well structured. So, you know, they give you enough time to work through the assignments. So you can manage your time. Like I was working 8 hours a day and I had a 1 hour commute each way. So I was gone 10 hours each day. And, you know, I still found time. And like Jordan said, you know, I spent a big chunk of my Saturdays was doing schoolwork. But you will find that what you're learning is so interesting that it doesn't feel like it's a burden. So you're actually excited to do the work. I was that way. You know, I look forward to working on most of my assignments. Yeah, there were a few that are like, oh, okay, do I have to do this? But for the most part, it was something that, you know, it was fun to do because it's stuff that you are using, you can put into practice, that you're gonna, you know, it's not just, you know, there's that good balance of between theory and, you know, actual hands-on work. So for me, it wasn't a problem. I was able to manage. I did struggle a little bit more at the last semester with the capstone because I was then the one setting my own deadlines. But the professors help you too. You know, they will sit with you and like, I don't think this deadline is, you know, realistic. You know, you should move it, or you know, you should do this and this, you know, before you do that. So you know, they will help you. So yeah, you'll be able to manage it. You'll be fine.
Joyce, you are muted.
I was unmuted. I just muted myself. It's late. Any other questions?
Hey, here I have a question about this program. Because I think there are too many international students. They will go to the USA or the Europe to study the other major. Maybe the major may be business and technology. So they actually also learn English in the certain. But the problem is, I think about if they take another major such as business, and which means they have the advantage in the professional knowledge in business. So I'm thinking about like, what is the advantage for us like, because the other international students also have the language advantage, and they also take the professional other major knowledge. So for us, we only focus on translation and interpreting, we only focus on language skill. So what is the advantage for us with the other international students? And like how the sorry, and how the UIUC can help us have like to make more professional in translation between two language than the other students.
Yeah, so I definitely want to hear what our students and alumni have to say, and of course my colleagues as well. But just briefly, what I'll say is that in our program, you don't study language, basically. You do have perhaps the option of some elective courses depending on the language pair. As I said, Brenda took Spanish English with me. We don't offer those courses in every conceivable language. By and large, our program is not about learning a language. And if we admit a student to the program, it's because they already have the proficiency in English and in another language. So it's not about learning the language. If you don't have that language proficiency already, you're not going to be in our program. But rather, our focus is on the subject matter, on the theory, and on the skills within particular areas of translation and interpreting. And I invite the alumni and students and my colleagues to add or correct anything I've said.
So which means for this program it's more focused on like help you to more have more fluency, like have better conversation and have the better, like how to say that, it's kind of like help you more professional trans one language to another language, kind of like that.
Exactly. And so, for example, one of the required courses is translation and interpreting theory. And in that course, I'm looking to see, it doesn't look like we have one of the instructors of that course here, but in that course, students will be studying what are the latest theories about different aspects of literary translation, about different aspects of interpreting. What is the interpreting theory? About what is interpreting? What are interpreters supposed to be doing? That sort of level. In addition to the skills. Then there are other courses where they learn very highly technical areas of translations, such as how to build a term base or what localization is. In other words, the short response, I think, is that translation and interpreting are areas of discipline in the same way that business administration or engineering are.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you for that great question.
So actually, the other thing I want to mention, because her question kind of reminds me of that question, because normally I receive questions from prospective students or applicants. Like some applicants may kind of wondering because they are not from literal background, they are not from language background or maybe translation backgrounds. For example, so we have students from chemistry, we have PhD from chemistry, we have students from geology or all kinds of different areas. So for admission, it's not a problem at all, because as long we will look at your language proficiency, as long as your language proficiency is advanced enough in at least 2 languages, including English and the other one. So at least you have one major requirements, and then we can consider other aspects as well. So like your background in other area will not be a problem at all. Actually, we welcome students from a variety of different backgrounds.
Thanks, Melody. Any other questions or comments?
And one more thing just came into my mind about the language pair. So so maybe you have checked our website, you know, we support like over, I think over 12 languages. So if your language is not within those listed on our website, so just feel free to reach out, because we do have like language support experts from other languages. For example, Korean, the Korean language, we do not have a faculty who specifically specialize in Korean language, but we do have language support from other language pairs.
It might be time to say happy weekend, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Just remember, if you have any other question after the webinar, just feel free to send us email and we can definitely get back to you.
Thank you so much to
Okay.
our returning students, our current students, and to everybody who attended. And we hope to be in touch again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.